Today, I'm going to go over 4 different neighborhoods in the Punta Cana area and give you the best neighborhood for you to move into. Yeah, you watching right now. I'm going to customize it for you. Just watch. Let's dive in. Many people think Punta Cana is just a tourist destination, and believe me, it is. And it also is home to a lot of residents. By last count, the region in general has over 100,000 people living here. There are 6+ private schools, multiple malls, shopping centers, play places for kids, and incredible neighborhoods for families. It's also one of the pricier parts of the Dominican Republic because it is so developed in the area. Now look, Punta Cana technically is the name given to the area between Punta Cana resorts on one side and the traffic circle on the way to Aguay on the other side. That strip is technically Punta Cana. So this includes Punta Cana International Airport, Punta Cana Village, Punta Cana Resort, Nacional, the supermarket, and Blue Mall. All of that is owned by Grupo Punta Cana. And for many people, that is Punta Cana. However, all the resorts going all the way up to Bávaro and even further north, they use the name Punta Cana. So generally, it's accepted that Punta Cana is more than just that strip of land I mentioned. In fact, let's take a look at it. So I'm calling Punta Cana everything you see in the light green here. That means Cap Cana down at the south, all the way up to Bávaro and Cortecito and Los Corrales in the north. So let's look at where you should live. All right, I'm going to start down here in Cap Cana, this area right down here to the south. Cap Cana is a long strip. This whole area to the north is the marina, and down here to the south is kind of where it stops. This whole area is Cap Cana. It's fully gated, fully secured, and there are multiple neighborhoods inside of it. I'm calling Cap Cana a neighborhood for the purposes of our discussion. Cap Cana right now is more of a resort community. People that own there tend to own vacation homes or Airbnbs, and there's multiple resorts inside. It's high-end, it's beautiful, it's expensive. So who should live there? If you are a married couple, empty nesters with some money, Cap Cana is perfect for you. To give you an idea, starting price in Cap Cana is going to be in the $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 range and up. Talking for apartments, you can get some villas for less, but generally speaking, it is a high 6-figure, low 7-figure investment to be in Cap Cana. So if you've raised your kids, you've made some money, you're retiring, and you've got some good retirement income coming in, Cap Cana is great. Move there. Now, as we go a little further north up here to where it says Punta Cana, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here. This area right here is Punta Cana Resort. So Punta Cana Resort could also be for the same people that go to Cap Cana. It's probably about the same price point. It's a little closer to all of the amenities like grocery stores and malls and all of that stuff. And it's a bit more organized for neighborhoods as opposed to just resort goers and vacationers. But if you are a family moving here with school-age kids, Punta Cana Resort, and more specifically right here, this section, Punta Cana Village, this is for you if you have a good income. Again, Punta Cana Village right now to get in is probably $500,000, $600,000. Very different feel from Punta Cana Resort and from Cap Cana. Punta Cana Village is walkable. There's parks inside of it for kids. It's built for families. It just is. You can walk to restaurants. You can walk to anything. You can walk to the pharmacy. You can walk to the doctor's office that's inside of Punta Cana Village. Like if you're moving here with a family and you've got the means to do so, this is the premier community in the Punta Cana area. Punta Cana Village, no doubt. If you are a family with means, this is where I would live all day. So you might be asking, okay, well, what if I'm a family that doesn't have a ton of money? I'm more middle class. Well, let's keep moving north. So let me zoom out. We're going to go up north here. We're going to get up to this area up here. This I would call the downtown Punta Cana area. So if you've been down here, downtown Punta Cana is considered like right where Coco Bongo is. Like that area, that kind of center part, that's downtown Punta Cana. And what's great about it is there's a ton of grocery stores and restaurants and shops. It's more condensed. It's a little bit more, it's busier than the other areas I've talked about so far. There are gated communities there and so on. But if you're a family that wants to spend $200,000 to $400,000 on housing, then this is the spot. To give you an idea, over here on the west here is Vista Cana. This is, it's just a little, I don't know if I zoom in if it makes it look bigger, but Vista Cana is a massive, massive development right now that's being built. I don't know, there'll probably end up being 20,000 units there. And they just announced that they're bringing a school there. It's called the Ashton School from Santo Domingo, a second branch, which means Vista Cana, where I used to say, it might be more of an Airbnb place, actually is starting to tip over to being more of a residential community for the future. Still under development, still a long way to go, but it is a legit project from my perspective, and it's doing really, really well. Another option over here is Costa Cana. This neighborhood and this community is a step down from Vista Cana, but your pricing in Vista Cana might be like $120,000 for a one-bed apartment to $450,000 for a four-bedroom villa or house. Villa and house are interchangeable here. Costa Cana, probably take that down by about 25% and you can get into Costa Cana. It's not the same experience. Vista Cana is buried power lines, there's clubhouses and a sense of community. Costa Cana is not as high end. It's still nice, still secure, still beautiful, but it's not the same level as Vista Cana, but you'll spend a little bit less. We have friends in both, and they're both amazing communities. Now, if it's like I need to spend $300 to $500 a month on my rent, the option that you might have is down here called Pueblo Bávaro, right here. So Pueblo Bávaro is a community that is gated, but I'll be honest, we've been in there a million times because our favorite arepa place is in there. It doesn't really work that well from a security standpoint. Like the security guards just winging the gate open all day. It is a much more active, sort of Dominican, what you would expect community. So there's bars on windows. It's loud. There's no noise ordinances in place that I know of that where you can't have noise after a certain hour. The areas I talked about, like Vista Cana, like Punta Cana Village, Cap Cana, those all have noise ordinances. But again, family without the means, Pueblo Bávaro's safe. It's fine. You just have to be a little bit more aware there. It's not as secure outside coming in, but it is a gated community and it is a very busy community. So just recapping. If you've got some money and you're an empty nester, go to Cap Cana. You got some money and you're a family with kids in school, go to Punta Cana Village, maybe Punta Cana Resort. Punta Cana Resort can do either of the two. If you're a family without as much means, you want to spend $100,000 to $300,000 on a home or $500 to $1,500 for rent, then downtown, that central area is the neighborhood for you. All right, so let's say that you're single and it doesn't matter your age. Or you're a young couple without kids, not the old couple living in Cap Cana, because it's just a quieter place. It's not as active, but a young couple who wants to be in it. Your spot, no doubt, at Cortecito. Cortecito, Los Corrales, that area is up in here. It's north of downtown. It's not too far as the crow flies, but you do have to go through some traffic to get there. But it is happening, hip, great nightlife, tons of restaurants, really walkable. The beach is right there. And that's who I know to live there. Young couples or anyone single. Look, I know a guy in his 60s, single. He's doing all right, if you know what I'm saying, in Cortecito. So this area to the north, Cortecito, Los Corrales, that's the spot to go if you're single or you're a young couple without kids. Now, there are exceptions to all of this, and I want to go through that real quick because you might be like, well, wait a minute, I'm a family, I really like Cap Cana, or we have some money to spend, and I don't want to stay in that Punta Cana, Cap Cana area. I want to get up where the action is. There's exceptions. Let me go through them. All right, so if you're a family with some money and you like the Cap Cana experience and you're willing to spend the kinds of prices you would in Punta Cana Village, Cap Cana does have a neighborhood for you. It's called Ciudad Las Canas. I think this is it right here. So it's outside of the gates of Cap Cana, which is actually a good thing. It's gated itself, but Cap Cana gates are ridiculous to get through, and it takes forever to get inside and outside of Cap Cana. Part of the reason why I don't want to live in Cap Cana, it's just too far removed from everything, and it takes forever to get out of it and then get to where everything is. But we lived in Green Village in Cap Cana for a while, and we would go here. We would go to Las Canas Marketplace. It's like a little, kind of like a 7-Eleven grocery store to get basic groceries if you needed them. Cap Cana Heritage School is right here, so that's probably it is the most expensive school in the area. Really, really good, U.S. accredited school. And Ciudad Las Canas is growing. It's becoming that Punta Cana Village type of experience over in the Cap Cana area. In my mind, they drop a Nacional inside of Ciudad Las Canas, game over. It's an absolute full-on community at that point. But until you've got that amenity, a full supermarket, I feel like it's less attractive because you're so far from everything. And by the way, those of you who say, no, Jay, there's one in Green Village. It's a cash and carry. It's nice, but it's not a full-on Nacional Jumbo type supermarket. Cap Cana needs that. We'll see if they can get it. So again, you have some money and you're a family. You don't want Punta Cana Village. You can go down to Las Canas as part of Cap Cana. Similarly, let's zoom out and move. If you want to be up in it, where everything else is up here, where I was saying like the nightlife and Cortecito and all of that stuff are closer to downtown, Vista Cana is fine. You can get nicer, higher end property if you want to spend a little bit more money. But the other option there is Cocotal. Cocotal is a fully developed community. It is, to me, the best competitor right now with Punta Cana Village. It's a golf community, and if you're an owner in Cocotal, you get access to Meliá beaches over here. the Meliá Resort beaches. If you're a renter or an Airbnb-er in Cocotal, you don't. So if you hear that, like,
oh, in Cocotal you get access to Meliá?
Only if you're an owner with an owner's card. So be mindful of that. But it's a great community. It's well developed. There's still some development there. Our kids have played soccer games there. We played against the local team over there, and their sports facility and clubhouse is top notch. So it's a great community. If you want families with money that want to spend a little money but be closer to the action of downtown, Cocotal is your exception there. Now, let's go the other way. Let's say you're a family that doesn't have the budget to live in a Punta Cana village, but kind of wants to be there. They love the idea of the village. Well, the village is right here. This area, as I mentioned, is Punta Cana originally, Punta Cana Village and all of that. If you go out to the traffic circle, it's kind of the end of Punta Cana. But right over here, if you go a little further out, is Ciudad La Palma. You can buy a home in Ciudad La Palma for $200,000 to $300,000 tops. You can get them for less than that, depending on the size of home you want. My understanding with Ciudad La Palma, it was originally built for the middle-class Dominican worker, but in COVID, a lot of the village people, moved from there to Ciudad La Palma because it was a lower cost of living, and now Ciudad La Palma has become a bit more premier, if you will. They're actually, the new construction areas inside of there are bigger homes with more amenities. Interestingly, Ciudad La Palma is owned by the guy that owns Grupo Punta Cana, which owns all of this, but it's not part of Grupo Punta Cana. So if you live in the village, for instance, you get the Grupo Punta Cana card, which means VIP access at the airport, which means unpaid access to Punta Cana Resort. Same owner, but not under the umbrella of Grupo Punta Cana for Ciudad La Palma. Therefore, you don't get those same access points and amenities. But you are right by Nacional. You're minutes away from Punta Cana Village and PCIS and Ikigai and the schools that are there. Maximo Potencial, all of those are inside of Punta Cana Village. So this is a great option if you want to be in the Punta Cana Village area but don't have the budget for it. Now, I just touched on it, but let's talk about schools if you're coming with a family. If you're in Cap Cana, the closest school to you is the Heritage School. You're about a 10-15 minute drive from Punta Cana Village, where I mentioned there are 3 schools: Maximo Potencial, PCIS, Punta Cana International School, and Ikigai. If you're up here in downtown, this area, or even up in Cortecito, Los Corrales, you can get to Bávaro Bilingual, which is somewhere up in this area. I don't know exactly where. And also, if you're looking for a Montessori, really all areas can get to it. It is right here in the middle, across from Bávaro Adventure Park. I'll show you if it zooms in. There it is. Villa Montessori, pardon me, is the Montessori school. You really can't, it's hard to see from the highway unless you're looking. It's kind of up on a hill, but that's another school that's sort of central to it all. The last part is doctors and hospitals. If you're in Cap Cana, you're really not close to any of them. The closest doctor or hospital is right here in Punta Cana Village. It's going to be Punta Cana Doctors, which is right here, Punta Cana Doctors. It's a clinic with multiple practices, and it does act as a small ER, but it's not for major emergencies or even moderate emergencies. Like when our kid had dengue fever and needed an IV bag, he went there. You go to the beach, don't drink enough water, and you're dehydrated, great spot for it. You know, a cut that needs stitches, great. But something major, you got to go to a different hospital. So now for the village, you have Punta Cana Doctors, but also the closest hospital, private hospital, is right here, Hospital Bávaro. About a 10-minute drive, maybe not even, depending on traffic, to get there, and it's a full-service, real hospital. But really, the biggest hospitals are kind of reserved if you live further north. So up here, you've got a Hospital IMG and you have Centro Médico Punta Cana. We've used both. We like Centro Médico a little bit better, but if you're in Punta Cana Village or Cap Cana especially, it is a haul to get to them. So you would probably use Hospital. Hospital IMG and Centro Médico are easy access for Cocotal, Cortecito, downtown, and so on. Now, if you're wondering if it's safe here, I did this video right here for you to check that out, and I'll give you a full workup on why I think the US is actually less safe than the Dominican Republic. And be sure to subscribe so you get notifications on this content, and would love any comments you have. What do you think? Did I hit it? Or did I hit the right neighborhoods for you? Or are there other questions I can answer? Drop it down in the comments. Happy to help.